Hello everyone, this is Shlok and today we are breaking down the biggest current affairs topics, quick, sharp and to the point. Plus, I'll be sharing my take on each of them. With that said, let's get into the video. So the first topic I want to get into is the monetary policy meeting of February 2025 and why is this meeting important? This is the meeting in which the RBI decides key policy rates. These policy rates impact the inflation rate as well as the growth in the economy. So we need to understand this very carefully. And the second most important part over here is the fact that what are the key takeaways from the meeting? The key takeaway is that the repo rate has been reduced from 6.5 to 6.25%, meaning that the money supply in the economy is going to increase. There is going to be increased economic growth. And what is the context behind this? That is something we need to understand. So in the year 2023-2024, we had the GDP growth rate of about 8.2%, but now the expected growth rate in the latest fiscal of 2024-2025 is about 6.4%. So the economic growth is slowing down, and the RBI needs to boost that particular economic growth metric, and this is one step in that direction. In addition to that, I also want to highlight the fact that the RBI governor has changed, late last year in 2024, and this is a question that has been asked to a lot of my friends, point blank, that who is the RBI governor currently. So this particular name is something that we should definitely remember. Coming on to the Paris AI summit that happened on the 10th and the 11th of February 2025. What all was the key takeaway from this? And first importantly, why is this important? The reason it is important is because it was co-chaired by India and France. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, as well as Shri Narendra Modi were co-chairing this particular summit. And more than 1,000 participants were there from over 100 countries. Again, another reason why this was important. What are the key takeaways? The first key takeaway was the joint statement. Now 61 countries signed the joint statement that talked about inclusive AI development, meaning bringing all social classes together and making sure they're all uplifted with the help of AI and not just technocrats or the cream of the population. The next key takeaway is US and UK stance. These are two major economies that refused to join the joint statement. They did not sign the joint statement, and the concerns they raised were that of over-regulation, which could stifle innovation and progress. The third one was the current AI Foundation. Now, what is this? This is France's initiative to invest $400 million in the development of AI for public good. So that is something, and the goal is to invest over a period of 5 years, $2.5 billion. So that's a little bit about the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit of Paris of February 2025. The next is the elephant in the room: Donald Trump, his tariffs, the impact on the Indian stock markets, and so on. It's not one topic, but a lot of things clubbed together, a lot of things, one impacting the other. So let's look into that. Why is this important? This is causing the Indian stock markets to nosedive. And the first important key takeaway I want you to have is the fact that foreign investors are pulling out of India left, right, and center. In February, they have pulled out about 21,000 crore rupees worth of funds, and they've also if you look at 2025 as a whole, they have pulled out close to 1 lakh crore rupees, and this also has a negative impact on the Indian rupees rate in the foreign exchange market, because what this does is it reduces the demand of the Indian rupee because people are not willing to invest in India right now. And why is that happening? Because of a lot of uncertainty in the global market, because of Donald Trump's tariffs, his recent policies of reciprocal tariffs and so on. So this is something that we should be very well versed with. Coming on to the next topic, the Aero India Air Show of 2025. This was conducted in Bengaluru. Why is this important? This is important because this is the first time in history that Russia's jet, the Sukhoi 57, the Su-57, and the USA's Lockheed Martin F-35 have shared the same airstrip. So this is happening for the first time in the whole world in India. And the key takeaway I want you to have from this, that is the fact that Russia has proposed that they are willing to produce the Su-57 planes in India if India is willing to buy those planes. So that is one very good thing for India, that this proposal can boost a lot of employment in the country, as well as it gives us a lot of knowledge transfer from the Russians. The other part is this show is also very, very crucial from the point of view of investors. This shows India's prowess in the field of aircraft manufacturing as well as defense, and it also brings in investments for the country. So this Aero India 2025, very important for us to know about. Let's look at the next topic, which is FTA talks between Qatar and India. So what happened? So what are FTA talks? FTA stands for Free Trade Agreement. So essentially, reduction in import duties, any kinds of tariffs, and ease of trade. The countries, the diplomatic as well as trade relations between a country improve a lot, and it leads to a lot more trade between those two countries, overall prosperity for both the countries. The key takeaway for us is the fact that the Emir of Qatar as well as Shri Narendra Modi met in New Delhi, and the goal here is to double the bilateral trade between India and Qatar to about 28 billion by the year 2030. The next thing is Qatar is aiming to invest $10 billion in different sectors, such as security, logistics, hospitality, and so on. The next part is UPI's widespread success. Now, UPI, recently I read that UPI is now being accepted for Indian visitors or anyone who uses UPI at the Eiffel Tower. That is one thing. And now even in Qatar, all Qatar National Bank POS, that is point of sale terminals, will also be accepting UPI. So that is a huge win for us. Let us now look at the Adani bribery case that the US Justice Department has brought up. So what exactly is this case? And the first thing is the US Justice Department brought this up in the year 2024. They alleged that Adani and 7 others have bribed Indian officials to get Indian solar energy contracts. Now, why does the USA care about this? The reason for that is that Adani took the investors' money from the USA, and if Adani stock loses value, the US investors are the ones who are losing out. So that is why the US Justice Department has brought this up. And the second part I wanted to address is what is the latest status of this particular case. And on that, in February 2025, Donald Trump has paused US anti-bribery probes against Adani. So that is the other development that we should be aware about. Digressing a little bit, I want you to take as many notes as humanly possible. I don't want you to take screenshots because screenshots are not going to register in your mind. Please write down in a notebook in your own handwriting, because even the act of writing itself will help you remember a lot of this stuff. So that's a little thing I want you to do. In addition to that, these videos take up a lot of research and a lot of time. So if you appreciate them, please, consider hitting the sub button. And let's move on to the next topic. Coming on to the next one, the budget of 2025 that came out on the 1st of February. No current affairs video is going to be complete without this topic, but I've made a detailed video about this. So please make sure you check that out as well. With that said, let's move on to the next one. Let's now jump on to the next topic, that RBI has been acquiring more and more gold over the last year. And recently in February 2025, even Nirmala Sitharaman was asked about this, that why is RBI buying more and more gold. But before that, let's jump into some important stats. So the first thing I want to talk about is that RBI acquired 72 metric tons of gold in 2024. That is a very big number, even considering for an entire country, that is still a big number, and it is more compared to what we do in regular years. So that is the first important part. The second thing is, what was Nirmala Sitharaman asked? Nirmala Sitharaman was asked, the finance minister of the country was asked, that is this a step towards de-dollarization? Now, what is de-dollarization? That is essentially an approach to move away from the US dollar. But the finance minister said that no, this is not the case. We are not moving away from, this is not a bid to move away from the US dollar. This is just the RBI buying more gold in order to diversify their foreign exchange reserves. So this particular data point is also, and this entire thing we must know about, that RBI is diversifying its foreign exchange holdings into gold. So in relation to the RBI's drive of acquiring more gold, I want to share a data point. In 2023, RBI acquired about 18 metric tons of gold, but in 2024 they ended up acquiring more than 72 tons. So that is a four-fold increase. So that is what something I was talking about. I wanted to solidify that with a fact. So here it is. Let's move on to the next topic. Finally, coming on to the last topic of today's discussion, this is the Mahakumbh, the fest that has come in this year after 144 years. I need you to look into why is this special, what is the celestial phenomenon because of which this particular Mahakumbh is special. I need you to look into that. In addition to it, I also want you to look into all the different stampedes that have happened surrounding the Mahakumbh. And yet another one question that has been asked in a few mock interviews is the fact that what are the different crowd management techniques that could be adopted in order to ensure something like this does not happen again. So that's a brief about the Mahakumbh. I don't want to dive deep into this one. With that said, those are all the topics I wanted to cover for this particular video. Alright guys, that's all from my side. I hope you got to learn a little bit from this video, and I've written down all the points that we've discussed today. In addition to that, I wanted to highlight that I've only covered the topics that are especially relevant to India. I wanted to also dive deep into Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, that entire conflict as well. But for the sake of time, I couldn't. But if you want that video, please let me know down in the comment section below. With that said, that's a little bit from my side. That's it from my side, and bye bye.